I was about to say happy day and I had to think a minute about what day it was. But it's Wednesday. So happy Wednesday, everybody. I hope this finds your week off to a good start. I feel a little bit more sense of routine this week, finally. As odd as that is to say, but things have just, I don't want to say they felt normal because they don't feel normal, but they felt a little less shockingly weird. Anyways, I wanted to talk a little bit about, I know there's been a lot of comments and thoughts, some of them not so positive, on the fact that real estate is still transpiring, on the fact that we still are out there at some level helping people buy and sell houses. And I just wanted to talk to that this evening. First and foremost, we are obviously taking everything that's going on incredibly seriously. Incredibly seriously. I think that is not good English. Anyways, we're taking it incredibly serious. But I thought twofold. I'd walk through a little bit of the protocol of how we are doing this, a little bit as to why, and then a little bit as to some of the things that we have in place in terms of kind of the contractual pieces as well. The why, let's start with that. I've said it several times over the last couple of weeks. Housing is an essential need. Everybody needs a place to live. And right, wrong, or indifferent, some people don't have a luxury of waiting. They have either the fact that they're already under contract, and those deals we are obviously getting to the finish line still and still doing that very successfully. We have people that have dates, timelines. We have people that are getting moved here for jobs, so they're getting moved out, relocation for jobs. We have leases coming up that they don't have an ability to extend a lease anymore, that they have to move, and their preference was to buy. So there still are people that need to do something and have a timeline to do it. So I just thought that was really an important reminder, something that's very important for us to understand and note from that perspective. In terms of our protocol, I think it's probably pretty important for people to understand how serious we are taking this, as well as how strong our protocol is. First and foremost, before we do any showings, either for our buyers or our sellers, we exhaust all virtual options first. So we want to take as many virtual options as there are, whether there's video walkthroughs, whether there's 3D tours, whatever it is. We walk through that with our clients, obviously, in different locations, just to really kind of bring our expertise to say what is the real sense of the property, and let's really highlight the shortcomings of it. Let's get them out on the table and make sure that there's things that under the right context we're okay with, so that we're making sure that if we do actual face-to-face showings, that they're really properties that would be considered on either side, as I said, for our sellers and or for our buyers. If we do get to that point where we've exhausted the options, it still feels like a good fit, and we decide to do a face-to-face showing, once again, there's quite a bit of protocol in place. First and foremost, everybody that's involved in that showing, a buyer, a seller, both agents, have to sign a disclosure form that first and foremost states that they're aware of coronavirus, state that they are no reason to believe that they have had any contact, are positive for coronavirus, have traveled anywhere. It basically states all of the questions that would put somebody at risk for testing positive. And then just kind of understanding the risk that we're taking from that perspective. So every party that's involved in it has to sign off on something like that, saying that they have no reason to believe that they have been inflicted with the disease, so to say. Then when we actually get to the showing, if you've been looking at any of my posts, I look lovely in my attire. We're doing gloves, we're doing masks, we're doing hand sanitizers. We are socially distancing in the property, and we are really not touching anything. The listing agent, whether that's us or we're going to see a listing, is making sure doors are open, so that basically we are walking through, keeping our distance, getting that final look to really kind of decide what we need to do, and making sure that it's really worthwhile from that perspective. So that's also important to know. Now, on the contractual side, we leave the property and it's a great fit, and the clients, say, hey, this makes sense, the timeline makes sense, and everything is worthwhile. It is important to note that we do have new components to our contracts now that basically just say, hey, we all have to admit we're in uncharted waters. There are certain things here that are outside of our control, so that we have to just all kind of be respectful of that, that we all have the best of intentions to get to the finish line at the right time, but there are things that could get in the way of that none of us may be able to control. And that's essentially what the rider says in very unprofessional, unlegal terms. From that perspective. So those things are all out there. Also to note, the executive order was tightened up as of today, April 1st, which just restricted a few more things that we could do. The good news was, is us as Chicago Home Partner, those were already things that we had in place. So for example, no open houses. We stopped all non-virtual open houses a few weeks back. We just didn't feel like it was the right environment for people. In addition to that, no showings with any tenant-occupied people. That was something else that we put into place personally a few weeks back. We just didn't feel like it was fair, and we talked to our clients that had tenant-owned properties on the market. Just said there was just too much risk in that, and it's one thing for a seller to say that they're okay taking a risk. It's another thing to put a tenant in a compromising situation like that. That's just not fair. So those were the things that kind of came out in the new version of the order, and those were things that we were already taking place of anyways. So just thought it was important for everyone to know, in our world, the real estate world, we are out there doing what we need to do for the people that need to do it. Obviously, a lot of the other things that we're doing right now, as I go over again, is educating, advising, and helping people to understand what's out there, as well as what their options are if they're struggling with everything or anything, not everything, or everything. So with that being said, I'm always happy to talk about personal situations, give my insight on it. And that's about it for tonight. So on that note, be kind to one another, be kind to yourselves, take care of yourself, take care of one another, be safe, reach out to people. People need to hear from you right now more than usual. Reach out to your friends, reach out to your family, connect as you can. You need to hear from people. So just remember that connection, I think, is even more important right now. I'm looking forward to getting through this with all of you. I have committed to be a part of this until we're through. So if anyone needs anything extra special, let me know how I can help. And I will see you guys tomorrow night. Have a great evening.